This is a weigh-in day like no other. The MGM Grand Garden Arena sold out, Johnny, in just 10 minutes for a weigh-in.
The buzz is amazing. The atmosphere is second to none. You'd expect it come fighting that. Never mind a simple little weigh-in.
Thousands of fans, plenty of Brits as well here to see Mayweather and Pacquiao hit the scales.
Are they ready? How ready are we?
We're ready! Quite remarkable scenes all around this huge hotel, which has hosted great nights, starring the likes of Tyson, Mosley, Barrera, Morales. They're all here amongst the fans. The MGM will be packed for the weigh-in and obviously for the night itself. Hello there, we're just hours away from finding out who really is the greatest fighter of our generation. Jim, Carl, Johnny and I, we can hardly hear ourselves speak, talk. It's a din already.
What? This place is set for the fans that can't afford a golden ticket for Saturday night. $10 ticket for here. Can you believe it?
Well, you can tell the huge size of an event by how many people just want to go to the weigh-in. I can remember De La Hoya fights, Ricky Hatton fights, when people were queuing from 6 o'clock in the morning just to get to the weigh-in. People didn't have tickets for the fights. It's a good. I know they've charged $10, but they tell me the money's going to charity. I hope that's the case. Could that be a nice touch to the promotion if that's true?
Some of the fans that are here, Carl, can't even see the weighing stage. Do you think they just want to be inside the building?
Yeah, people just want to turn up and play a part in the event. You know, people are in the casinos, hanging around outside the casinos. The streets are going mad. As it gets closer and closer to the fight, you can see and feel how big and how busy it's becoming. And now this is the weigh-in day, the 3 o'clock weigh-in, and we can't even hear ourselves think. It's chaos in the arena.
Jim, I was watching the local news this morning, and they're expecting 250,000 people in Vegas this weekend. It's going to be jammed everywhere.
Well, that is why they want the big fights in Vegas. It's not just people who go to the shows, because the casinos all make a fortune, the restaurants all make a fortune. That is why boxing has always been so big in Las Vegas. Mike Tyson, all the huge names want to fight here, and Vegas wants to have them here.
And why we're here is for the fight. A chance, guys, to really look at the tactics in depth now. Mayweather, Pacquiao, and how the fight's won. Carl, first of all.
How does he deal with the pressure, Floyd Mayweather? We saw De La Hoya put him under some serious pressure. It can be done.
It can be done, yeah. We've seen Floyd Mayweather so many times on his back foot, under pressure. You know, De La Hoya did it, but it's sustaining it for 12 rounds. Mayweather seems to be able to sit back and take the pressure. I mean, here early on in the fight, he knows what's coming. Oscar De La Hoya, what a great fighter, a legend himself in the sport. He's just working the body here, just putting the shots together. And this is effective because the judges are looking at this and they're scoring it. But Mayweather breaks him down slowly but surely. He changes round after round.
Freddie Roach's tactics, weren't they, for this? He nearly got it right that night.
Yeah, but that's a fact. I think the big problem, Oscar De La Hoya was never a great 12-round fighter. He was never great over the 12 rounds. He faded several times during his career, and that's what cost him the victory here. He got his tactics right. He did everything right for the first half of the fight. Then he started to fade. Then Mayweather, with the classy stuff, the quality counters, took over, and I thought he won fair and square. But that was a decent Oscar De La Hoya that night. Oscar was in good shape that night. He wasn't washed up. So it just proves how good Mayweather was going to become.
The blueprint for that, though, Pacquiao, De La Hoya, he was in and out. He knew exactly what to do, the space, the angles.
I have to be honest. Pacquiao fought a shell of De La Hoya. That was not Oscar De La Hoya that night. He dragged himself down to the weight. He did a silly thing on the scales, and he was a shell. He never got into the fight at any time, and he was just completely dominated. Pacquiao was brilliant, but that wasn't Oscar De La Hoya in there that night.
Carl, we were talking to Justin Fortune, Liam Vaughan, other people in the Pacquiao camp. They say these are going to be the tactics. Pacquiao's got to get in and out and find angles.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a way you can beat Floyd Mayweather. If you can go in and out effectively, landing punches, making Mayweather miss, and get out of a fast counter. It all sounds very, very good in theory, but when you get into the ring with Mayweather, all the fighters over the years find out different.
He puts on educated pressure when he's working on a fighter, when he knows what he's doing, when he's getting the time.
This just shows how classy Mayweather is, because we all know Ricky Hatton. He's bull strong, moving forward, he's rough and tough. His head, his elbow goes in. Mayweather just dominated him almost with ease from start to finish. That's how good he is.
People don't give Mayweather credit for how tough he is. when he gets caught with a shot, he can walk through the shot, and that just shows you how good, how perfect his timing is. That was the perfect finishing punch. Terrific.
Would Pacquiao be as static for Mayweather to do that to him?
No, he wouldn't. I think this will be the toughest fight of Mayweather's career. Mayweather hasn't said Pacquiao is the best he's faced, but I think after the fight he will be saying it. Pacquiao is a terrific fight. Pacquiao is on the same level as Floyd Mayweather.
A defensive genius, they say. Could Pacquiao put Mayweather under that pressure? Because when he's under pressure, he seems like he's got a sixth sense, sixth time.
Yes, everybody's making a big deal about how good defensively he is, and he is. He's a defensive masterclass, like you said, a genius. But look at his offense. He lands a single right hand on its own. Not many people can tee up with a right hand, throw a fake, then land a single right hand the way he does. Slipping back there, right hand on the target, slips away from the counter punch. He's just unbelievable as well. He's defensively masterful, but offensively, when he's putting the attack and putting the pressure on, he's fantastic.
And these moves we've seen, you've got to try and put Pacquiao in that position. Could he do these things to Manny Pacquiao's in-out style? He does get vulnerable. Well, he is vulnerable at times.
Johnny, the word is that Pacquiao is going to come in light. That's the rumours at the moment. So Pacquiao is going to be working on speed. Now that showed his toughness there, and it also showed his experience. He was badly hurt against Mosley. Mosley caught with a couple of terrific punches, but he did the right thing. He spoiled. He got his head clear. He just got through the crisis. And that's one of the few crises he's had to cope with.
But Jim, he can start slowly, can't he? That one, Sam Judah, Castillo as well. Mayweather might have a chance, first 6 rounds especially.
Yeah, and I think Mayweather's going to be the naturally bigger fighter when the first bell sounds. And I think this may be the first time that Mayweather uses his strength and maybe a little bit more aggressive than we've seen him in the past. He cannot allow Pacquiao to control the pace, or the tempo. He cannot allow that to happen. Pacquiao throws too many punches.
I've got 3 top champions, past and present, with me. There are so many more out there all around Vegas, and Ed's managed to collate a few of them.
Well, Zab, you fought Floyd Mayweather and you've been sparring with him. How's he looking and what do you think is going to happen in the fight?
He's looking superb. Hand speed is great. Defense is great. His condition is always superb. My prediction, 48-0 by KO.
I think that Manny can actually knock out Mayweather, but I also think that Mayweather can knock out Manny. I think they both have punching power where they can get the job done.
Should be intriguing though, shouldn't it?
It should be a great fight. It's interesting, and you never know what's going to happen.
Pacquiao's a guy who's reckless. He throws a lot of punches wild. He gets unorganized sometimes. So I think Mayweather's going to use his aggression, Pacquiao's aggression, to his benefit, and it's going to counterpunch and just take an easy fight and, ball box him.
This is boxing, and I do feel that if the fight become a close fight, I think they'll get the decision to Manny, because you got to think about the money-wise. Whether it's a draw or Manny wins, the rematch is more money, and that's just how I feel about it. But I do feel, if Floyd going to do everything he have to do, he will be victorious.
Is Mayweather able to counterpunch Pacquiao? Is that the key, as you did?
I think Mayweather he's very smart. He used a counterpuncher because this is the perfect style to win this fight. This is a perfect style to put bad Manny Pacquiao. He has the perfect style.
That combination between Floyd and Manny is going to produce a great fight. I think it's going to live up to the hype. And can Floyd Mayweather implement his game plan and take away Floyd Mayweather's strengths, and then vice versa? Can Manny implement his game plan and his strength and take away Floyd's strengths? That's the question. And the man that is better on the night, rises to the occasion on the night, will be the man who gets his hand raised. So I don't have a direct prediction, but I think it's going to be just a great fight.
Floyd is the bigger man. Do you see that as a big advantage?
I see it as a very big advantage because, that means Pacquiao has to really try and make up the space in between to catch him. He said he's going to go in there and catch him with a 1-2. I don't think you can catch any great fighter with a 1-2. You got to throw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 8 punches or, more than 3 punches to catch a guy.
Floyd really has never had to deal with somebody who does everything off speed or at a different rhythm. So that'll be fun to see him adjust to it. Of course, we all know that if he has a good jab, which Floyd does have, he can offset a lot of it. And I'm sure Pacquiao prepared for the jab in camp as well. So, these guys are not beginners. They're both very high-rated professionals, and I look for a very high-rated professional fight.
Mayweather has never faced a guy like Manny Pacquiao. He's like a firecracker when he's inside the ring. He throws from awkward angles. You can't see it because he's such a speedy fighter. You can't see where those awkward angles come from. So, it's a fight where I feel like whoever has the ability to adjust faster will take it down the stretch and win by decision. But I don't see a knockout.
First 6 rounds, it's going to be all hell breakout. I think that Pacquiao is going to use his speed, use his foot movement. Aggressiveness is going to come in and he's going to throw punches. Mayweather's going to have to figure out early on in the fight to be able to counteract that. And I believe that the first 6 rounds is going to be really exciting. I believe Mayweather would take over. I believe his IQ would kick in. I believe he would try to slow Pacquiao down, make him be one-dimensional puncher or two-dimensional puncher, then 10 punches coming at Mayweather. I believe Mayweather wins a decision. I won't be surprised if it's a close decision, possibly controversial decision, but I believe he will pull it out by decision. It will be knockdowns. It will be blood, wherever it's coming from this side or that side. But I believe it will be one of those fights where a lot of people will be satisfied with, but it will be some controversial conversations about who won, what round, and the outcome.
Great fighters, just like fans. Tyson, Holyfield here, Morales and Barrera as well. I had to pinch myself. Eric's just working alongside us.
You know what? It's a who's who in this building. The fighters who are supposed to be the best in the world. Nobody's really putting their neck on the line, are they?
Well, Johnny, the public have been screaming for this fight for years. But all these faces prove this is also a trade fight. Everybody in boxing wanted this fight to take place. I think it would have been an embarrassment to boxing if the fight hadn't taken place. But remember, there's the fight, famous for not happening. So everybody wants this fight to take place. And the faces we've just shown on screen here show how big it is.
Hey, Carla, here you came face to face with one of them a few hours ago, Bernard Hopkins here. Is that a pipe dream or your pipe and slippers on?
He rated one of my interviews yesterday in the press room. It was actually nice to see him. He's been trying to talk the fight up, give me a little bit of disrespect, but we had a little mano face off there, and he was totally respectful, and it was good for me to speak to him on a level and not be disappointed by any rubbish talk. It was nice to meet him, but everyone who's anyone's here. This is Roy Jones Jr., Marco Antonio Barrera.
Was you impressed? Was you impressed of all people?
I'm like a kid in a sweet shop looking around thinking, all these, and everyone's looking at me as well and getting pictures.
You got your autograph book out. I tell you, you might have to on the night as well for the A-list celebrities, Johnny.
Oh my God. Beyonce, Jay-Z, he's got an after party. P. Diddy, Clooney. Who's who or who shouldn't be here?
Yeah, the celebrities will be here in force. And what an opportunity for 2 rising stars as well on display. The brilliant former amateur star, Vasyl Lomachenko, and the thrilling Leo Santa Cruz have the chance to shine. What a setting. The magnificent MGM glittering. We're counting down the minutes until our modern greats weigh in ahead of this highly anticipated showdown. Carl, Jim, Johnny and I are also looking forward to seeing some stars of the future.
The debate rages on as to whether Floyd Mayweather truly is the best boxer ever. On his undercard on Saturday night, we get to see the man regarded as the best ever amateur.
Vasyl Lomachenko! Lomachenko, the Ukrainian fighter, won 2 gold medals in the Olympics, one in Beijing and one in London.
2 Olympic golds and a reported 396 amateur wins against just 1 defeat, avenged twice. It was time for a new challenge.
When they came to see us and meet with us, he wanted to go for a world title right away. This was unheard of in modern boxing.
After an impressive debut, he got his wish, but Orlando Salido came in heavy and used his size and experience to nab a split points win. By fight number 3, Lomachenko was champion.
He's a magician in the ring. I mean, his background is as an acrobat, as a dancer. I mean, he's something special to see.
He has a really good demeanor about him, a presence. He has a swagger, as we say, a cockiness. He would fight Klitschko if I asked him to. I mean, he wants to fight everybody.
Now in bout number 5, And up against Gamaliel Rodriguez, he continues the American dream.
It feels very great to be here in Las Vegas, especially for me. My pro debut was here in Vegas. I hope it's going to be my hometown and a home base as far as the boxing. I like it a lot.
I believe that he is an emerging superstar in the sport.
I would love, of course, to show something in the professional boxing to become one of the best ones.
His brilliance as a professional may even be greater than his accomplishments as an amateur. And that is what we're all excited about.
Vasyl Lomachenko, the sparkling amateur, and he's doing it very early on as a pro, isn't he?
He's doing it early on, he's doing it fast, WBO champion. He wants to get past Rodriguez and box WBA champion Nicholas Walters. What a stage to perform on.
But Lomachenko is going to be a superstar. One of the best amateur boxers that's ever graced the game, more than 400 fights. We were here for his pro debut, which was a final eliminator virtually for the world title. 2 fights later, he's world champion. Look at the way, a man who's fought for so long as an amateur, look at the way he's adapted to the pro game. All the punches, he works the body well, as the words are coming out of my mouth, a beautiful body shot. Kovalev and Gennady Golovkin are huge over here from the east. I think he'll be every bit as big. Terrific fighter.
He defends his title against Gamaliel Rodriguez, but Lomachenko is a hot favourite here, isn't he, Carl?
Oh, definitely. He's an outstanding talent, and he's a hot favourite on this big event. Everybody wants to be on this bill.
Leo Santa Cruz also got onto the bill. I think Scott Quigg, Carl Frampton, they all want to fight him. But he's going up to featherweight, and he wants Abner Mares, who's also somewhere around here.
No, he's in a terrific division. There's loads of huge fights out there for him. We're interested, obviously, because of Scott Quigg and Carl Frampton. But, you know, we'll get a look at him tomorrow night, but I don't think he'll be under any duress. I think he'll win quite convincingly.
Abner Mares again, another fight. Every fight in the world wants to be here on this bill. What a showcase.
Unbelievable showcase. To be on the undercard of the platform in the biggest fight in the last century. You can imagine who's organised. I mean, the promotion must have had chaos trying to actually pick the undercard. So these guys are really privileged to be fighting on this.
Can't call this whole thing's chaos. We really can't hear anything, but I think that Ed's down somewhere in the melee with Paulie Malignaggi.
Well, Paulie, have you ever known anything quite like this for a weigh-in?
No, nothing matches this. I can barely hear you, and I'm standing right next to you.
Does this bring out the fan in you, being around this kind of atmosphere on this occasion?
Oh, yes. I'm primarily a fan before a fighter. At times, that's how I feel. On a weekend like this, I definitely feel like that. I'm excited. The buzz in here is getting me even more excited. I can't wait for tomorrow. I can't wait to see the 2 fighters on stage face-to-face after they weigh in.
There's so many fighters in town for this occasion, aren't there?
Yes, it's like one big holiday for all the fighters to turn up here for the biggest event in boxing this century.
What do you expect from this weigh-in? What do you expect to see? Will Floyd be significantly bigger?
I do think Floyd will be significantly bigger. I think he's a more natural welterweight. I don't think either of them were natural welters. They turned pro a lot smaller, but I think Floyd has a bigger frame. He's taller. He's full out better. And I think when they're face-to-face, especially shirtless, he'll look even bigger. He's been looking bigger the whole camp than Pacquiao. Pacquiao, I don't think, is a naturally filled welterweight. But I think it's probably at the weigh-in he'll look bigger. But again, sometimes it doesn't always matter. Pacquiao's beating bigger fighters.
Yeah, we can't wait for the weigh-in. Can't wait for the fights.
Paulie, like a kid in a sweet shop, like all of us. What are we going to see, Jim, when the 2 of them get on the scales? What are you looking out for, the signs?
I think everything will be quite respectful. I hope so, because the eyes of the world are on boxing this weekend. So I hope both fighters conduct themselves the way they've been conducting themselves up to recent weeks. We know they're both in fantastic condition. We know one's 36 years old and one is 38, but they both lived their life and they both look fantastic. So we want to see a nice bit of discipline, shake of the hand, and then get down to business.
I know you're struggling to hear me, but can you imagine the kind of pressure both fighters are going to be under when they get on that scale?
They're both very, very professional. They've been here a number of occasions. I really don't think they'll let it get to them. It's important that both make the weight first and foremost. I want to see them on the weight. Nobody's struggling, which I'm sure they're not going to be. But I don't think there'll be any need. There'll be no pushing and shoving.
Do you think Pacquiao might come in light? That's what we're hearing.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking at working on his speed. And Mayweather has been working a lot on his strength and staying still a little bit more, chopping the trees down with the axe, doing a bit of swimming, and that you don't lose a lot of weight when you're swimming. So maybe Mayweather is coming in on the big side.
But would it be a good sign if Pacquiao came in light?
If he come in, no, I think he's based their whole plan around speed. A lot of damage is done with weigh-ins the day before. After the weigh-in, people putting too many calories down their throat. I don't think Pacquiao will do that. I think he intends being the fast one tomorrow night. So I think he'll still be light when he comes into the ring.
Don't miss the weigh-in live on Sky Sports News. It's coming up at 11 o'clock. Then we bring you all the reaction in our final countdown of the week. That's 7 o'clock Saturday morning. Plus 2 more shows to complete our pre-fight coverage. The 3rd episode of Inside Mayweather Pacquiao, and then the gloves are off here in Vegas.
Boxing's almost like that really bad girlfriend that you can't leave. You know, it's like no matter how bad it is, there's something that keeps you there, and that's the thing about boxing. Yeah, there's scandals and decisions. Yeah, there's crazy moments that happen, but humans just can't keep their eyes off train wrecks. And somehow, somewhere, you want to see a crazy, bloody fight, a violent fight. You want to see a classic fight.
Don't miss it, and then rejoin us from midnight for the mega match, live and exclusive on Sky Sports Box Office. For connected Sky customers, the easiest way to book Mayweather Pacquiao is with your remote control. Simply press Box Office, navigate to the Sports tab, then select the fight. Booking with your remote is the only way to add the event to your Sky planner, and you'll then only be charged if you watch it. Cable customers should contact your operator. Our thanks to Jim and to Carl. We're almost there.
Tick, tock, tick, tock.
Just one more sleep to go.
Massive.
Kaya nakapuso network ng babas.
He's claiming that he's #1 pound for pound in boxing. I want to feel the punches of #1 pound for pound.
Let's do it.
To Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao.
Ng pambansang kamao, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather Jr. Doon sinabi ni Pacquiao.
Pacquiao, like Floyd Mayweather name.
Give us the Mayweather Pacquiao fight. Okay, Floyd Mayweather Jr.